The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. The government is dealing with one of the worst financial scandals in the history of the public service. Somewhere in the public service, this is the worst scandal since the sponsorship scandal. Now, we have 4 clear requests. First, we want the Prime Minister to acknowledge his responsibility. Second, we want him to implement an independent inquiry. Third, we want him to recover the money. Get the money back, for heaven's sake. And fourth, we want this massive error to be fixed. So let's start with the first request. Does the Prime Minister admit that he, as Prime Minister, should be held to account for Quebecers and for Canadians? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Well, Mr. Speaker, of course this situation is unacceptable. That's why authorities are following up and investigating this procurement situation, which obviously did not go as planned. Anyone who profited unduly on the actions of a government which was focused on saving lives during COVID-19, anyone who profited from our government to make personal profits should face consequences. We are allowing authorities to investigate as needed. The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Well, we agree on something. It's unacceptable. The Prime Minister is responsible for something which is unacceptable. So he should take just a bit of action, shouldn't he? Next, what will he do to recover the tens of millions of misspent taxpayer dollars? For example, the CBSA, will he put them under guardianship? Will he instigate an inquiry? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, as I said, we do agree that this situation is unacceptable. That's why authorities are currently following up on the contracting processes. Authorities are also looking at all years during which individuals who work for these companies may have profited from government procurement contracts. So, of course, we need to take this seriously. And, of course, authorities are taking this seriously. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Well, Mr. Speaker, we need to wonder what the Bloc Quebecois leader was thinking when the Prime Minister asked him for $24 million for an application that was supposed to cost $80,000. And the Bloc leader, he said, yes, absolutely, no matter the cost, we will vote in favor of it for millions. And the government house leader of the Bloc Quebecois, in fact, said it's not the Bloc Quebecois' job to scrutinize all government spending. We support the government and we tell them to go ahead. So what is the Bloc even good for? The Prime Minister is rising to answer the question, but I would like to remind members that it's important that questions during question period relate to the administration of government or committee business. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. The leader of the Conservative Party asked me what the Bloc is good for. I find that that question is hurtful to Quebecers. Even if I may disagree with the Bloc Quebecois and their desire to constantly pick fights, the Bloc Quebecois was elected by Quebecers. Those Bloc Quebecois members of Parliament sit in this House and they do their jobs. The party across the way disrespects Quebecers. They disrespect mayors in Quebec. On this side of the House, we have work to do and we're doing it. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Well, this is really something. There is a marriage here in this House of the Liberals and the Bloc Party. The Prime Minister compliments the Bloc applauds, then the Bloc votes to support more money for Arrive scam. The Bloc votes to drastically increase taxes along with this Prime Minister. The Bloc votes for these housing policies that have doubled the cost of housing for Quebecers. The Bloc is constantly voting with the Prime Minister to release dangerous criminals on parole. This Liberal Bloc marriage, what's it doing? What's it good for? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, it's very clear, once again, that the Conservative Party disrespects Quebecers. Not only do they disrespect Quebecers, but they also disrespect democracy. Mr. Speaker, I have spent my entire political career fighting for federalism in Quebec and fighting for a united Quebec. Often that has involved being against the Bloc Quebecois, but I have always respected Bloc Quebecois members. I respect anyone who runs to represent constituents and who represents them here. The Conservatives' disregard for democracy and for Quebecers should be of concern to all Quebecers and to all Canadians. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Mr. Speaker, I just keep asking the same question, and it's the same question that the Premier of Quebec asked. François Legault asked this question. He asked, what does it do to vote Bloc? Well, we know what it does. We know what it's good for. It's good for the Prime Minister. The Bloc Québécois votes with the Prime Minister. They voted with him to drastically increase taxes on carbon and diesel. They voted with the Prime Minister to ban hunting rifles in the regions of Quebec. The Bloc is voting to release criminals and increase waves of crime on our streets. So when you vote Bloc, what you're really doing is supporting the Prime Minister. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker. Once again, what I hear is contempt, disrespect and contempt for Quebecers and for democracy. What I didn't hear, though, was a question.